What surprised me about Haney? Um, well, of course, the power that he came with, the strength that he came with. They did say he was a little stronger, whatever else. So the power that he had, just surprised me a little bit.
As you guys can see, we just finished digging Brian Norman Sr.'s grave out. All right? Yo! What did I say? What did we talk about leading into this fight with Devin the Dream Haney and Brian Norman Jr.? We already knew, we talked about Devin Haney possibly winning this fight, okay? Don't get me wrong. You could give Brian Norman Jr. some arguments to why he would win, but logical guys who were actually, paying attention to the resumes and paying attention to the careers knew that Devin the Dream Haney was going to win this fight. And seeing Brian Norman Sr. talk the most crap, digging himself into a 10-foot grave, that's what I was saying. That you need to show respect to the people that you're fighting, because you're showing this disrespect towards Devin Haney, talking the most crap on him. If Devin Haney beats your son, what does that mean? You just dug a grave for yourself, Brian Norman Sr. And from now on, man, ain't nobody ever going to believe the crap talking that you do. It should have been more of a respectful thing. I understand at the end of the day, Bill Haney, Devin Haney, they're being disrespectful. It is what it is. But the grave has been dug for Brian Norman Sr., who just lost his WBO 147 welterweight title to Devin Haney. Bro, in the second round, Brian Norman Sr., Brian Norman Jr., what were they talking about? Oh, you better watch out for my left hook. You better watch out. You ain't going to stand in the pocket and swing with me. Did Devin Haney not rock him with a left hook? Boom! And drop him with a right? My goodness. Bro, just an absolutely amazing performance from Devin Haney with a spectacular jab. Going in there, his jab was looking like a goddamn robot or something. It was perfection. Every single time I threw it, I thought to myself, man, Devin Haney is so goddamn skilled, man. He came in this fight, and in my opinion, that had to be the greatest Devin the Dream Haney that I have ever seen in any weight class, man. There's power, there's even more speed behind Devin Haney at 147 pounds. I absolutely love it. Putting Brian Norman Jr. down in round 2, I guarantee you Brian Norman Jr. was like, what? I have never seen that power before. You guys, I'm telling you, man, 147 Devin Haney is a completely different monster. Now, speaking of monsters, the new WBO world champion in the lightweight division, Abdullah Mason, one of my favorite fighters in the sport of boxing, and possibly could be my favorite in the next year. And I'm going to tell you guys why. This is a guy who was getting yelled at by his coach, by his trainer, that were telling him to start boxing from the outside. You're making this a lot harder than it is. I love Abdullah Mason, because even though they tell him that, when this dude gets hit, he got a goddamn heart of a lion. He wants to trade with you. You get him mad? Screw the skills. I'm coming in here to bang with you in the pocket. Uppercuts to the bodies. Uppercuts, boom, boom. A fan favorite fighter. And I know his parents and a lot of people might be judging him. Yo, man, this kid, he gets touched up, this and that. I don't care. Put him in there. Give me exciting fights, and I am going to appreciate and respect it. When you look at his division now, the youngest champion in the sport of boxing, and is in the division with champions like Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta Tank Davis, Raven Muccioletta, who's taking on Andy Cruz coming up. I mean, I'm going to tell you guys right now, for Abdullah Mason, these are the next 2 fighters that I would love to see him fight next. Floyd Schofield. I don't know if they're going to make that happen or if it's even possible. But I would love to see Floyd Schofield now step into the ring with Abdullah Mason. Of course, there's a lot of beef behind these guys. The sparring footage, it looked like Abdullah was beating the crap out of him. But I said to myself, watching Sam Noakes put on a goddamn war with Abdullah Mason, I said, dude, if Floyd Schofield can take the same type of punishment that Sam Noakes was taking last night, but can give it back to Abdullah Mason better than Sam did? There's a possibility. And now I'm starting to think in my head that Floyd Schofield might actually be able to beat Abdullah Mason. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying it's a possibility. That fight would be insane. If not, what about William Zepeda? Put him in there with William Zepeda. Dude. Now that, oh my God. Oh my God. Abdullah Mason versus William Zepeda. I know people would actually be choosing William Zepeda to win that fight based off of his performance for Shakur Stevenson. Is Abdullah Mason as talented as Shakur Stevenson yet in his career? We don't know. But that would definitely be a super fight. A lot of people would tune in to see that, and a huge test. And kind of a marker just to be able to see where Abdullah Mason is really when it comes to these high-level fighters, all right? No matter what happens, I'm very, very big fan of Abdullah Mason. Any moves he makes right now, I am glad with. Now, Jesse Rodriguez, this dude's on a whole different level, my people. I don't even think he should be in the ring fighting the fighters that he is fighting, all right? That's how good of a fighter he is. This dude just gained 4 out of the 5 titles in the junior bantamweight division, 115 pounds last night, by destroying Fernando Martinez. I mean, destroying him. Fernando was landing a few punches every now and then, but that was just because Jesse Rodriguez was putting the pressure, and out of 10 punches that Jesse Bam Rodriguez would land, he would get hit with 1 maybe. But Jesse, this defense, his offense, the angles that this man takes before unleashing his combos is on a different level, man. And I'm tired of trying to set up fights for him next, because if he's going to unify the junior bantamweight division, he's going to be facing Willie Baldo Garcia, who go do some tape study on Willie Baldo. This isn't even a match. This isn't even a fight. They should just hand the bout over to Jesse, because it's just a waste of time watching this fight. We know who's going to win. The thing about the bantamweight to the junior featherweight division, you got 115 pounds, then you go up to bantamweight, which is at 118 pounds. A 3-pound difference. And then you go up to the weight class after that, 118 to 122. I mean, bro, enough of 3 goddamn weight classes separating 7 pounds. I want to see Jesse Bam Rodriguez not move up to 118 pounds. I want him to go up to 122, where the actual killers are, in a way. Hunto Nakatani, right? Both of those dudes on our collision course fighting on the ring for the Night of the Samurai, taking place, I think it's the last boxing card of December, and setting up a possible ridiculous fight right there, right? I want to see Jesse Bam Rodriguez in those type of fights. I don't care about any other fight in the 115, 118. I want to see the best compete against the best. Jesse is on that level already. I know he's young in his career. A lot of people were saying, nah, don't feed him that early. He's too young. Give it to him. Give Jesse Bam Rodriguez. This guy can handle it, man. I'm telling you guys. Absolutely fantastic fighter. Now, what's going to happen with David Benavidez? As you guys heard after the fight with Anthony Yard last night, of course, it was an incredible fight, dude. Anthony Yard, a dog, going in there, actually fighting with David Benavidez, putting up a good fight. Towards the end, David Benavidez was beating the crap out of this man. I mean, unleashing combinations ridiculously, grabbing his head, giving him, 15 uppercuts in a row. This guy is scary. And to hear that his next fight is not going to be against Arthur Beterbiev, which I would love to see now. I know everybody watched that Anthony Yard fight now and said, bro, Beterbiev would give David Benavidez a great, great fight, man. It is high IQ with power from both punches, skills from both fighters. That would be a super fight. But they want to set up an all-action, all-Latino battle between the WBA and WBO Cruiserweight World Champion in Zurdo Ramirez. Okay? And my thoughts on that? I love it, bro. Seeing David Benavidez step into the ring with a Zurdo Ramirez on May 2nd would be I mean, we're having a party over here, bro. We're having a fiesta because that would be an absolutely huge fight. I know a lot of people are like, yo, man, I want to see this guy compete against Benavidez. I want to see him compete against Dimitri Bivol. But at the end of the day, it seems like David Benavidez has his mindset on Zurdo. Ring Magazine just dropped that Zurdo Ramirez is going to defend his titles, I think, somewhere in January. So it's making things even interesting now. So we're going to be able to get a little taste of Zurdo to see how he acts, see how it is. We're going to have David Benavidez go to that fight. I'm sure after Zurdo Ramirez defends his title, they're going to have David Benavidez step into the ring. They're going to do this ultimate face-off, and it's going to be ridiculous, bro. It's going to be a huge fight and a spectacle matchup. We're going to see if David Benavidez has what it takes to move up and, you know, compete with the likes of Zurdo Ramirez. I think he does. I think he's more skillfuler, and I think he might even, the weight won't be an issue. I really don't, man. I think it's a great fight for David Benavidez to lock in and become another division world champion and get 2 of the bouts in that division. David Benavidez, man, one of the most electrifying, one of the most exciting fighters in the sport of boxing right now. That card lived up to the hype, got me thinking the next day, what do I even talk about? There's so many things I talk about. What is going to happen with each fighter next? There's more questions answered, more questions to be asked than that we just got answered after watching this weekend's fights, my friends.